What is a union contract? Have you ever wondered what a union contract really is and how it affects workers and employers? A union contract, also known as a collective bargaining agreement, is a legally binding document. It is negotiated between an employer and a labor union that represents employees. This contract outlines the terms and conditions of employment, covering aspects like wages, hours, benefits, and workplace safety. The contract also includes grievance procedures and other work-related rules. It essentially governs the relationship between the employer and the employees represented by the union. This means it establishes rights and obligations for both parties involved. From a libertarian viewpoint, the most important aspect of a union contract is that it should be entered into voluntarily. Libertarians stress that individuals must have the freedom to choose whether to be represented by a union. They believe that all parties involved should consent to the terms negotiated in the contract. The idea is that the contract is a private agreement reflecting the mutual interests of both the employer and the union. Union contracts often designate the union as the exclusive bargaining representative for all employees in a bargaining unit. This means that the employer agrees to negotiate only with that union on matters covered by the contract. Sometimes, this exclusivity is part of an organizing agreement voluntarily accepted by the employer. In such cases, the union may agree to forego certain actions, like strikes, in exchange for recognition and bargaining rights. However, libertarians often criticize certain features found in union contracts. For example, closed shop or union shop clauses can be contentious. A closed shop requires employers to hire only union members, while a union shop mandates that employees join the union after being hired. Libertarians argue that these arrangements infringe on individual freedom by compelling workers to join or financially support a union against their will. Another concern is that union contracts may impose obligations on all employees covered by the contract. This could mean paying union dues or fees, even if some workers do not wish to support the union's activities. Libertarians see this as a form of coercion, where the majority within the union can override the rights of dissenting individuals. In practice, union contracts create a framework that shapes workplace relations and labor market dynamics. They can provide workers with collective bargaining power to negotiate better wages and working conditions. However, they may also restrict individual negotiations between employees and employers. From a libertarian perspective, the legitimacy of a union contract hinges on the absence of coercion and the presence of voluntary consent. It is essential that individual rights are respected within the collective process. A union contract is essentially a voluntary agreement between an employer and a union representing employees that defines the terms of employment. Libertarians support the freedom to enter such contracts but oppose any form of compulsory union membership or dues that violate individual choice. They advocate for contracts that arise from free, consensual bargaining without any state-imposed mandates or coercion.